The difference between you and me is that I didn't give up. And that's the difference. That person that's working tenaciously, they're not giving up because it's a dream, it's a goal, it's a mission, and they're not going to give up no matter how many obstacles, how many days they have that it looks like nothing's happening and say, I'm going to go back. Because go back, what if you stop that day and that next day your breakthrough's right there? Now you got 10 years, you got to come back and try to get that moment. You've missed it.
The Intelligence Forge podcast is sponsored by Permasize AI Forge. The Intelligence Forge podcast is sponsored by Permasize AI Forge. At Permasize AI Forge, we know you're ambitious, but are manual tasks like admin, lead generation, nurturing, and onboarding holding you back from truly scaling your business? Imagine saving dozens of hours every week, freeing you to deepen client relationships and execute high-impact strategy. Our clients aren't just imagining it. They're saving countless hours per week and doubling their revenue within months. We custom-build AI automation systems that eliminate the grind. From effortless lead generation and nurturing to seamless onboarding, we give you back the most valuable resource, your time, so you can focus on building those vital human connections and driving strategic growth. Stop letting repetitive tasks limit your potential. It's time to build a business that works for you, not the other way around. Ready to unlock your true scaling power? Visit PermasizeAIForge.com and book your free AI audit call today to discover how you can save time and double your revenue. And don't forget to like and subscribe to the Intelligence Forge YouTube channel and hit that notification bell so you never miss a new episode.
From survivor mode to CEO energy, breaking the hidden bottlenecks that keep entrepreneurs stuck. Welcome to the Intelligence Forge, where we explore how business leaders leverage intelligence, both human and artificial, to build smarter, more resilient companies. I'm thrilled to have Mrs. Treanesa Johnson with us today. Treanesa, welcome to the show.
Yes, thank you. Nice to be here.
All right. I'd love our listener to hear your story in your own words. Can you please introduce yourself? Let us know about Johnson Empire and what's been the Shift Lady really means.
Okay. Again, my name is Treanesa Johnson. I am the founder and owner of Johnson Empire. And my life was unconventional, meaning that I wasn't raised around wealth, the strategy, or leadership. I did go to college to learn how to advance those skills in a way. I have 4 children. This primarily is my way of living. I'm building Johnson Empire. And so when I thought of how I could create a company, I thought of, I'm going to leave a legacy for my children's children. And so the best way to do that was build an empire. And I'm like, okay, Johnson Empire. So that's how Johnson Empire became into existence. I had recently connected with a group of amazing people, and I got my insurance license. So that's where the financial background came of me building a legacy, learning of how to invest and how to make my money grow other than me working for my money. And so that started. Then the AI thing came like later. It was like, oh, that's like my assistant. Okay. So the Shift Lady was born. I was on a call in a meeting with a client, a potential client. And then, we end up working together. And I started asking her questions. And she was like, wow, this feels like a therapy session. I feel like I'm talking to my counselor. And she was like, wow, I'm going to call you the Shift Lady. And so that's how that ended up happening, because the way that I meet with my clients is unconventional, meaning that I am meeting with them to help them to get over a problem, helping them to pull out the things where they feel they don't have. And those are hard questions. People, you got to dig deep inside. And so it's like you're shifting your perspective. They may come in in a meeting and join with me and start working with me and doing all of the things and leave like, wow, I have totally transformed. So that's how the Shift Lady became into existence.
Wow, incredible. That's really fascinating. But thanks so much for sharing that with us. You've been building Johnson Empire since 2007. That's nearly 2 decades of impact. What's the most exciting things happening at Johnson Empire right now? Any recent wins or success story that have you particularly energized?
Well, to be completely honest, I started my business in 2007, but it wasn't Johnson Empire then. It just started from my home. The Johnson Empire did not happen until, of course, I was married because my name wasn't Johnson then. And then I had not connected with my tribe now of the people that are in the financial sector. So
Right.
I've been in business since 2007,
Okay.
but Johnson Empire has been into fruition since about 3 years now.
Right.
Yeah, yeah. But as far as the 20 decades, I always wanted to be my own. I don't really like working for someone. It's like the thought of helping them build their dreams. And it's like at the end of the day, there are my dreams. What am I leaving my children? Like the thing that I found when I started with the team that I'm with now, my youngest son is 15. So
Right.
once I build what I'm working on building and I want my son to be CEO, he can take over at 18. But anybody else's company, you got to start from the ground up. So it's like, why would I keep helping them build their dreams? And when it's time for me to leave your company, I got to start all over. And so it's like, why can't I do them both? And so that's kind of how the idea of Johnson Empire and the building of the legacies and all of that. So the 20 years, it grew to that. It grew from here, it had to grow. So yeah.
Okay. Thanks so much for clarifying that you've been in business since 2007, but the
Yes.
empire itself started 3 years ago. But thank you so much for clarifying that. All right.
Yes.
So
Yes.
let's go back to 2007 and maybe 3 years ago. Whichever one is applicable, you could answer this next question. When you first started your journey, what inspired you to launch into business, or being an entrepreneur, or maybe to launch Johnson Empire? I know you explained some certain things earlier, but I want you to tie into this. How much funding did you actually have available when you first started? I think our listener would love to see or hear about the early days, how you navigate the path.
I started in the spare room of my house, and the internet was being used, but not to the extent that it is now. And so I always would Google, and I got to think back then. That's a lot, but I don't know. I think I used a lot of the learning and the development from college because I went to a business college. I didn't go to a traditional college where I had to live in a dorm. I went so that I could learn these skills. I wanted to work in corporate, which I did. I worked for all of this, like almost every company in downtown Chicago, for the vice president. So I learned from the leaders of the company. And so being around that, coming straight from high school, going into this environment, it was like, wow, I'm like, I could do that. So that's really where my desire came. I saw I'm doing what they're asking me to do. And if I'm doing it, then I could do this for myself. And so I would go home and, depending on, my children were smaller then, and depending on how I felt and how much energy I had, and looking at the time, knowing I would have to get up at 5 in the morning and start the day over, and not wanting to be sleepy at work, so, but it worked. And it's anything I've come to find when it's something that we want out of life we find a way to make it happen. And that's just the tenacity that I had. I just found a way.
All right. If there is a will, there's always a way. That's what they say.
Yes, that's so true. That's so true.
All right. All right. Thank you so much for sharing that. Okay. In your own work, you've been helping, women entrepreneur break through bottlenecks, build sustainable businesses. But what specific AI tools and technology are you currently staying competitive with? Are you using currently to help you stay competitive, and deliver results for your client? I know you spoke to me earlier to say you love AI. This is the time for us to hear those stories.
Well, AI is my personal assistant. I am working every day. I'm learning different ways of building the prompts. I'm working on the videos now for some of my content on my YouTube channel. I have also opened a school community. And so I want to build my real life AI of myself doing the videos, so that's the things that I'm learning. I've learned how it was one of them that I wrote down today. It was saying to generate the realistic is the poly AI. So I was going to get started with that and put in my prompts and see what kind of avatar along with my picture. And I'm going to start using the poly AI, and that's going to be my face, so yeah. So I'm not always having to be, I got to get my hair ready to get on and do a video. I'm just putting the prompt in and my video is already ready to go live. And it's a replica and a real life version of me. And it's still the face of Johnson Empire, aka the ship lady.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, bring it on. Yes, thank you so much. Okay, magic one question. Yeah,
Yes.
this is really exciting. Let's do the magic one question. Yeah. So everyone gets to answer this question. It's your turn now. So if you have a magic one today and you could instantly improve one thing about Johnson Empire's operation tomorrow, what would it be and why?
I would have a bigger team. And the team, I can't put a number on it, but it would be bigger than it is now. And I think and why is because I'm a big believer in attracting what we want in life. And I believe that the people that are to be on this team, we both would have attracted each other into our life. And so we're all working, we're like many in body, one in mind. So we're all working for one mission. And of course, Johnson Empire would just go from my idea of leaving a legacy for my children's children to even partnerships and worldwide exposure, and even people wanting to, I'll sit with them and see if their business model fits in with Johnson Empire and see how we can, make this multi-million. That would, if I had a magic wand, that would be my magic wand.
Fantastic. But I have a follow-up question for you on that. You said you want a bigger team. Why? Let me frame it very well. The context we are asking is, why do you need a bigger team if you could use AI to fulfill some of those things?
Okay. Well, you're correct. You're correct, because if you can train AI to do that, you don't need humans. And AI would not need time off. They would not get tired. They would not, have vacation. You don't have to get the excuses. So if it was a way for me to, which I said AI is my assistant now. So if I could build, yes, heck yes, definitely.
Fantastic.
Not without a shadow of a doubt. It would not, I wouldn't even think about it. It's like, okay, let's do it now.
Okay. Music to my ears. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. That takes us to the next question. And I think you've answered that question. So maybe let me still ask. I mean, I know it's still the same answer I'm going to get, but I'm still just going to ask it. So you teach about breaking bottlenecks and building systems. Do you believe that automating your business processes those manual, repetitive tasks could significantly impact your revenue and even help scale your business.
Yes.
Okay.
I mean, because it would be working while I don't have to be there. It's doing it. I'm getting the freedom. It's like a 2-in-1 kind of model.
That's true. I agree with you. Okay, let's dive into something you know intimately. This idea of moving from survivor mode to CEO energy. You talk a lot about bottleneck, that keeps entrepreneurs stuck, from your 18 years experience in business, like you said earlier, about 20 years now, you've started business. What are the most common bottlenecks you see, brilliant and hardworking women entrepreneurs face today?
I would say the idea. They're stuck on the idea. They know they want to do it, but they don't. They're like, wow, and this has happened more than one occasion. They'll be, wow, I admire you. You jumped out there and did it and you didn't even know what it's gonna look like. And I laugh because I'm like, well, thank you, but if you don't jump, how you gonna know if you'll fall? Sometimes you jump, you might not fall. Sometimes you jump and you might fly. So it's like if no, that's, yeah. But if you don't jump, you won't know. And so I'm just not a believer in waiting until the I and the T and all of the things everything's lined perfectly and I'm going to put it out there. Sometimes you got to put it out there and be like, you know what? I need to add more. No, it should have been like this. And if you just keep thinking with it in here and not putting it out there and even getting feedback. So a lot of times the content that I put out, it's like if I'm getting feedback, it's like, okay, letting me know, you know what, I could have. But if you never show it, it's not even going to grow. It's just an idea. So that's a lot of what I've come to find with a lot of the women that I'm just having casual conversation. Now with my clients, that's what I'm pulling out of them because a lot of them are sitting with it here and on paper. And it's like, no, we have to get this out because it's sitting here. All of your notes is not going to help. I mean, it's just going to be on a shelf. Then let's say, let's go a step further. You're working at this company. We know how unpredictable life is, not even the world, but I mean, just life. And you got a job, you go to work, and they message you through the computer, not even in person, right? Everything's through the computer and tell you to clear out your computer and come see them. At that point, you already know something's ready to go. Something's not going right today. And they tell you we no longer need you here at the company. Wow. But what if that day happens, you've already been working on this and you're like, you know what, now I'm free. I can put all my time. I already started doing this. And now it's like you're not starting from the ground up, so it's like always looking at it in another, I guess if you want to say, always having a backup plan. Yeah.
Right,
Yeah.
right. Okay, thank you so much for that. In your recent content that you posted, you mentioned that broke beliefs don't just live in your bank account. They live in your system too. Can you share a specific example of how you've seen this play out with a client? What did the transformation looks like?
Well, generational belief. Children believe what their parents tell them. You think your parents are telling you things that are going to help you. Sometimes their belief will hurt you because it's leaving you stuck. So that's the bank account. You'll have a parent that is like, go to school, get a good job. That's not life now. You can't go to school. You might not get a good job. You'll get a job, but it's like you got all of this money. You done spend all of this money. And most people, if they're starting and they're trying to build from one price range or price bracket to the next, they don't have money set aside to pay for college. So what are they doing? They're taking out student loans. They're taking out all of the other funding to get a degree when here it is, you already are just adding up another expensive bill.
Wow.
And you get out, you graduate, can't find a job. You're going to get a job anywhere to just have a job. So it's like your bank account is stuck there. And so if a person doesn't have enough willpower inside, they'll stay stuck there and be like, this is my life. This is just my life. But it does not have to be your life. If you have enough courage, and I'm going to use the word courage, to even look past, I don't like what I see. It's like you're looking at your life from the inside out, and you're like, I don't like it. I wake up every day. I don't feel all of the words that a person may say that's not words that's uplifting to them, and they want to change it, but they don't have the desire. So of course your bank account is going to stay stuck there because you don't even have the desire to try to see what another thing you could do that could make your bank account start looking the way you want it to look. And anybody will tell you if their bank account starts looking better, you're going to feel better and you're going to start looking better.
That's true.
It's just that, but it's got to start here. And if you don't have enough courage to pull it out of you, you stuck there.
That's true. That's true. Well, thank you for that. So let's just take one layer more. You've worked with hundreds of entrepreneurs, many entrepreneurs, but I think our audience will love to know the difference between someone who is working so hard, but staying stuck versus someone who is actually breaking through the CEO energy that you've talked about.
I would still say that's that person's willpower. They're not giving up. Over the person that's breaking it and the one that isn't, it's kind of like verse from one of my favorite rappers. And he says, the difference between you and me is that I didn't give up. And that's the difference. That person that's working tenaciously, they're not giving up because it's a dream, it's a goal, it's a mission, and they're not going to give up no matter how many obstacles, how many days they have that it looks like nothing's happening and say, I'm going to go back. Because go back, what if you stop that day and that next day your breakthrough is right there. Now you got 10 years, you got to come back and try to get that moment. You've missed it. You got to look at it like the people in the entertainment industry. They believe without a shadow of a doubt. I never forget the Jim Carrey when he wrote that $1 million check to himself and he carried it around. He believed that one day he was going to write that check to himself. He didn't know what it looked like, but he believed that nobody could tell him nothing different. And so that's the difference that I believe with that person that's working and not seeing. They're not believing enough. And so a lot of the techniques that I do with my clients, we do a lot of breath work. We do a lot of inner work. We do a lot of we do a lot of mental work. Because if you can't transform your mind, nothing else is going to transform.
That's true.
Because your mom, like I said, your parents, the house you lived in, it's gotten you to where you are now. But if you want something more, you got to transform from that to something else. And it's going to take a whole mindset shift. And that's how the shift lady came into effect as well.
Wow, that's true. And I agree perfectly with you. But just to find out, when you try to help your client, probably at the beginning, are there any resistance, in terms of probably some of the methodology that you're trying to teach them to do, to use, and some of them are resisting, they don't want to do it? Have you seen any, and how did you overcome those?
Yeah, and they just stop.
Wow.
They paid for the program, the course. We've met a few times and they didn't do the work. Then after it got to the point of them saying, it's too much, I feel like whatever they may say, or at that point, it's nothing I could do. I'm like, I'm sorry you feel that way, but it's others before you that have succeeded. And I have testimonies and, could even, have where it was a time we could all get together and they're sharing with them how it helped them. But again, that person's mental is not the same as A and B. The A person is not open to it. And let's even say they may have wanted to see it like the microwave kind of way. You put it in a microwave, 10 minutes, it's here. 5 minutes, everything, life, you can't just work one day or work on an area that has built up for 10 years and put it in a microwave for 5 minutes and think that it's going to change. So that's what happened. They thought that because I'm doing this, I've been doing it for 30 days, I'm supposed to see some results. We've been like this for 50 years.
What now?
Yeah. Yeah. So and at that point, it's like you're not open to the possibility of what the transformation is going to look like in the end. Yeah.
All right. Thanks so much for breaking that down. Let's talk a little bit about your company. You've mentioned multiple times about the way you help other people in terms of bottlenecks. But how have you been able to apply this to your company in terms of growing Johnson Empire? What challenges are you navigating as you scale the impact of your company?
I'm using more of, like what I said, AI. AI has really helped me tremendously, because a lot of your analogy of when I said I wanted to grow my team and what if I had AI to do that, that's like music to my ears. So any question that I have, I will immediately grab my phone and chat, ask, I even named her, and so I want to work on building that bot. So I would say, to answer your question, the automation, that's a part of what I have from the beginning I didn't have, because I was trying to figure out how to do a funnel. I was trying to figure out how to do a landing page, trying to figure out how to do this email and get this email list. And it's like now you don't have to try to figure that out. It's here. Do you know what's not in front of you? I mean, it's like the world is telling you, hello, I'm here. So I've taken on that model for Johnson Empire to help me scale, where I don't have to feel like I'm just, every day that hamster on a hamster wheel and just running and nothing is happening. So that's what I'm doing for my company.
Okay, one last question on that. Where do you want to see Johnson Empire grow in the next 12 months? Not necessarily in terms of revenue, it could be that, but also in terms of the impact that you want to make. So I'll give you an example, probably you working with 10 companies or 10 individuals currently, and you think in the next 12 months, I want to be working with 45, 50, something like that.
Well, I agree with you with the number. I would say that I want Johnson Empire to be more where it's known. Someone hears that name and they'll be, wow, I know it. I've heard about that company. Oh, do you know how she just came up and so that's what I would want for 12 months, for someone. As soon as they hear Johnson Empire, I heard that name. You know her? Oh my goodness, so and so, and all of that would be done through the automation, through the help of, using the technology. Because if we really look at the way the world is happening now, I think it's going to be done. You're not going to, like even now, money is all going to be electronic. I was at a McDonald's drive-through, and they had a sign on the drive-through that they don't have pennies because the world isn't producing pennies anymore. So it's like, if you're seeing that they're not producing pennies, the gold pennies, what do you think is going to happen in 10 years? So if you have a company and you're a CEO of a company and you're not taking this business model and now your company is not going to be in existence. I'm sorry. That's just the reality.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. Thank you so much. And the shift lady, that name has to go viral.
Yes, it does. Yes, it does.
All right.
I agree.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I won't forget. Okay. As we wrap up, one piece of advice would you love to give, other business owners that are feeling stuck? Maybe they are working hard, doing everything right, but still, no breakthrough. What advice will you have for them today?
I would say to that business owner, that CEO, go back to the beginning and think about why you started what you started. Sometimes we do have to go back. And if that means even just taking a sabbatical or something, locking yourself away from all of the chaos and, do some self-reflecting. And a lot of the stuckness that they're feeling, it's not really stuckness. It's that they forgot. And they'll come up with some different answers from when they started because they've grown from point A to point C, and so it's like now you've forgot the middle, the beginning and the middle. You're the middle toward the end now, and it looks different. But if we forget where we came, you can't go forward. I mean, that's just life,
It's true.
You can't. Yeah. So that would be the advice I would give them.
Thank you. And on top of that, really and truly, they should see you. They should come see you. And that's my last question.
Yeah, so true. I did. I'm like, come see me. Absolutely. Yes.
And that's my last question in saying, if anyone wants to get in touch with you, they want to contact you, they want some advice from you, they want to work with you, they want you to move them from being stuck to the CEO energy, where can they find you?
I'm on Facebook. I'm on LinkedIn. All of that is on Johnson Empire.
Okay.
I have my email I just created. Again, when I was saying to you, I've implemented AI. So AI did my whole new website. And it's called The Shift Lady, and I just did it in 3 minutes.
I
3 minutes.
I know. Yeah.
It's like if that's what I'm saying. Come see me. It's like, things that I'm doing where it would have taken me weeks. I just typed into AI. You just get on that platform and type in what you want to type in and it's there. So what business owner wouldn't want to use that? I mean, because that's what's going to be taking over anyway. So why not start using it and become expert in it now while it's still in the developing phases? So over once it's already developed, you trying to catch up. Why?
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but I will message you. I don't know my website off of memory, but yes.
No, that's fine. If you send it to us, we'll put it in the description link also for our
Yes.
audience to interact with
Yes.
that.
Yes, and my school community is called Revenue to Reboot. So, I'm building my school community, and in there, the school is all about the things where we're, taking our building the community, the different templates and everything that you go through, again, of everything that I have said, they're going to be going through there, the exercises, the visualization, all of the things that are transforming the lack mentality that they have, but they're doing it privately. We do have sessions where we come together, like on a Zoom, but this is more of a self reflection of that person because sometimes, it's things that you don't want to share that's private. But it's exercises you do on your own.
It's true.
And they're not challenging. They're hard. I mean, they're not challenging or hard. They're kind of the ones where it's like you're seeking that answer and the question is structured to make you answer it, where it's like, wow, I would have never thought of it like that. I mean, it's a simple question, but it's just the way that it's structured to make you look at it like that's what this was.
Right.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much for sharing with us today your journey, your experience, your expertise. I think our audience will definitely gain a lot of value in what you've shared with us. And we want to say we wish you well in your future endeavors as you go along the line, making AI your business partner, your assistant, and your strategic partner. I think that's really lovely. Thank you so much for coming through.
Thank you for inviting me. This was fun. And any way that I can support you, let me know. Let me know. Okay.
All right, we appreciate that. Thank you so much.
You didn't quit your day job to become a full-time admin assistant. The Intelligence Forge podcast is sponsored by Permasize AI Forge. At Permasize AI Forge, we know you didn't start your business to spend 60 hours a week on paperwork, chasing leads, and managing endless admin tasks. You started it to build something meaningful and serve your clients. But right now, you're trapped in the day-to-day grind instead of growing your business. What if I told you our clients are reclaiming 15, 20 hours per week, increasing their revenue by 30 to 50% within 6, 12 months, and finally getting their lives back? We don't just automate random tasks. We build custom AI systems that eliminate the bottlenecks choking your growth, from leads generation to lead, nurturing and management to project management to client follow-ups. Stop paying for an expensive, frustrating manual system. It's time to upgrade to strategic automation. Visit PermasizeAIForge.com and book your free business transformation strategy call today. Discover exactly how much time and money you're losing to manual processes and how to get both back. And don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the Intelligence Forge, and hit that notification bell so you never miss an episode packed with game-changing insights. Your future automated business is waiting.